Well, it's a de-emphasis on that starting five. What you're trying to do is build good daily habits, the fundamentals, the carryover, these multiple rotations, something that Jeff Mitty's been doing for the first 3 games. Interesting to see how this group reacts early.
Quick look down low to Tess Heel, and an early whistle and a foul. Jeff Mitty has had 3 freshmen in the starting 5. When it happened on Monday against Lamar, it was the first time since 2022. That was the Glenn sisters and Serena Sundell.
It is a lot of freshmen, a very highly touted recruiting class that has come into Manhattan, Kansas, each kind of trying to find their own way. But one of those players, Tess Heel, she really is the only one that comes with true starting experience and has been that real consistent factor so far for Jeff Mitty and the Cats.
And it's Tess Heel who knocks down a couple of free throws to open the scoring tonight. Here's Robles from the elbow. In and out, and out of bounds. Went up strong, got the contact.
They're looking to set a lot of high ball screens, get her some action where she can get downhill and create. Right now, Robles able to lock that up, but the help side is where the fouls have come here early for the Coyotes.
Molly Joyce enters the game for the Coyotes. And a substitution for K-State as well. Izella Arenas is on the floor. And Foy takes a rest for the first time tonight. This is Tori Schlagel controlling the ball. Drive in the purple, and a nice finish.
And Schlagel has had 3 starts as a freshman, averaging just over 19 minutes a game. She's raw, but she's versatile.
All conference, all 4 years at Eden Prairie High School. She was the school's leading scorer.
You can talk about a young lady who's got a scorer's mentality, but yet still making that transition. You've got to understand how the world works at the Division I level. A little bigger, faster, stronger.
Now, Angie Robles was bigger, faster, stronger on the finish to tie the game at 4.
This Coyote offense.
Jordan Spicer takes her first shot, a little short. Shots haven't fallen so far for Spicer as a collegiate, but the confidence is there to keep putting them up. Williams drives baseline, and Spicer's called for the foul.
For Angelina Robles from the get-go, she has been able to own this locker room and gain the trust of her teammates, and you can see it with the ball in her hands. She's looking to go and finish.
Now, Carrie Amy said that Robles really won over the team at Summit League Media Day, and she has become immediately a vocal leader for this bunch. There's Schlagel from distance, and the Coyotes have their first lead of the night.
Secondary looks, early break opportunities. They got to take advantage.
The Cats have been out in transition, but it seems to have been a little bit out of control. So Cotton settles it down and hits the Cats' first bucket from the floor.
She had just 4 points, 2 boards against Lamar. Got herself in a bit of foul trouble, but you see that there is some space where she can create it and look to score. But right now, it has been the penetration.
Coyotes up by 3. With just over 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Arenas with a crossover. Cotton backs downhill. Shimmy shake and a great jumper.
She uses that fadeaway to create space from the defense.
She said Devin has been a huge part of that and understanding what kind of players they need in this South Dakota program.
Hannah, thanks very much. Second season for the Amy's in Vermillion.
You've got to create continuity with the roster, and I think that's exactly what they were able to do with a mixture of both transfers and freshmen. From a team a year ago that went 11-20, they were just 1-10 on the road last season. One of the things that they preach from the get-go is discipline. The 2 of them together, they're finding that right team chemistry.
5-11 in conference play, but also have the Conference Player of the Year in Larkins, who led the league in points, rebounds, assists, minutes. She was a one-woman wrecking crew.
Yes, and you've got to buy into that. And so you've got to have the players that want to do that. They understood they had some key pieces that they wanted to fill. And when you're able to find the players that can execute.
13 new players for South Dakota, 9 of them transfers, 4 of them freshmen. Only 2 returners for the Coyotes, Olivia Kiefer and Coral Mason. Ramaya White, Missy for the Wildcats is 9 newcomers, including 5 transfers. You've got 4 freshmen, for the Cats that has starting experience.
Yeah, and that's what during the course of about the next 7 to 10 days, and that is Nastia Classics. She is unavailable to Jeff Mitty, did not play against Lamar, not here today, and will not be available against them in Texas A&M come Sunday. She is back with the Belgian national team at their training camp.
And this is a situation that Jeff Mitty and company were well aware of. This is an Olympic cycle, and so all international players can be recalled for training camp, as Claessens has. It does come at a difficult time.
So you've had a different leading scorer. You've had someone in each game who's led this team not only in scoring and rebounding in the first 3 contests. So you're looking for players to step up.
And it's not just the game at hand or the next game coming up, but it's pivotal time to figure out the chemistry of this team. That's something, Missy, that both of these coaches are trying to figure out with all of these newcomers.
You are absolutely right, and I think you're going to see a lot of rotations for both teams over the course of the next month or so. More depth at the guard position than he's had in a while. Maybe not as much depth inside. South Dakota, on the flip side, a ton of depth at multiple positions, players that can be interchangeable.
Joyce gets called for the reach-in foul.
So when you can create that traffic and that pressure, really does change how a player wants to attack it.
Their opportunities at the free throw line. That was the team's first miss from the stripe. And now 9 for 10. Under 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Great scramble for the ball on the floor. Jenna Hopp came away with it. Schlegel lets fly from the wing and connects again.
Great ball movement that time from the Coyotes.
Schlegel's got 8 points. That leads all scorers. And another charge. So there's no pylon over there.
I know. So I don't know if we can really say that that's the truth, but it is going to stay with South Dakota here, 15 on that shot clock.
Josie Hill from distance. And that barely grazed the net.
Slow closeout by Ramaya White, and that's what you can't do against shooters.
Full gets the ball back after she was blocked from behind by Hopp. Now Arena's contested 3. It spins away from White. Under 10. Robles around side, scoop, and off the mark. Rebound Spicer. Foy picks it up. Sides with a last-second heat. Just missed. And the Coyotes take a 1-point lead into the second quarter. They have come to Manhattan with some tenacious defense and effort. Well, the Wildcats have made the most of their chances.
South Dakota has stepped behind the three-point line, gone 3 of 7 themselves. Those are difference maker right here. What adjustments does Kansas State make here in the second 10?
That's the foul shots that have kept the Wildcats in the game. 9 of 10 from the foul line in the first quarter. Garcia kicks out, extra pass, Spicer from 3, too strong. Cotton battle for the board. Patience Williams comes away with it for South Dakota.
And you said it, Jake, extra pass.
Well, Spicer is now 3 for 22 to start the season. Hand off Robles down the lane. And Janessa Cotton's there to reject it to slow down. That plays right into what the Coyotes are trying to do. Sides is kept to the perimeter. 10 seconds of the shot clock now for the freshman Gina Garcia. Joyce strips it away.
But she slaps at the basketball, and that's where that whistle's going to go. Point guard first mentality for your freshman.
Up against Spicer. Needs help. And there's Robles. It feels like there's 3 of her on the floor the way that she's played tonight.
She's done a fantastic job of moving without the basketball, not trying to do too much, taking what the K-State defense will give you.
Heel from the baseline.
One thing about Tess Hill's game, and it really was evident in her time at Santa Clara, get more into a rhythm off the bounce. I think that opens up this Wildcat offense.
It was 2 years at Santa Clara for Tess Hill, and then last year at Stanford. So she had 74 career starts. Sides finds a window. Not
as much time, but she has found a new home in Vermillion and is thriving in this system with Carrie Amy.
And someone that Amy was familiar with, too. She had recruited Jenna Hopp out of high school. And that is part of the roster building for the Coyotes. Familiarity, relationships. Quick pass into the corner for Schlegel. Coyotes back it out. Alyssa Bartlett on the drive, trying to go against Hill. And she can certainly be an X factor for a Wildcat offense that...
Jeff Mitty mentioned in her rebounding capacity. She had 10 boards, 11 points, was just 1 of 8 from behind the three-point line. So much of it is just confidence, especially for young players. What you have to do is to make that transition, and you've got to be able to keep the confidence as a shooter. She has it, but yet it's about transitioning it and transferring it. It may just take a couple more weeks.
6 points now for Tess Hill, tied for the team lead with Gina Garcia, who's gotten all 6 of her points from the foul line. Wildcats up by 3 with 4 minutes left in the half. Josie Hill contested, knocks it down. She transferred to South Dakota that she expected to start taking some more threes, even though she admitted that one of her favorite parts of the game is blocking shots. In her home state, she's from Rapid City, South Dakota, after 3 years at Chicago State. Ball in her hands again. Arenas in the air. Whipped around for Bartlett. Baseline drive over 2 defenders. Hill's there underneath. And she takes the contact and hits the floor.
Their first year to their second year, not only about just competing against great opponents like Kansas State in the non-con, but when you think ahead how you want to be successful, players like Josie Hill, they make all the difference.
And for her, being back in her home state, but being at home brings her a lot of pride. And Hannah has more.
Yeah, that's right, Jake. Returning home to her home state means so much more for Josie Hill. She belongs to the Sisseton Native American tribe, and her coach, Carrie Amy, told us about the camps and clinics that Hill puts on for youth living on the Native American reservation, saying Hill spent time away from the team this summer to help out with these camps.
This K-State coaching staff not at all very happy with the effort they're getting on the defensive end right now.
Cats down the floor out of the timeout. Spicer against Hill. And another charge.
The 4th charge that has been drawn in this first half. Given that shoulder, that's where the contact's going to come.
Hill got her feet set, apparently. Bartlett off the mark. Williams underneath. And Sides ultimately pulls it away.
This is where K-State's got to be aggressive. They've got to have some assertiveness on the offensive end out in transition. Yeah, they got her deep a couple possessions in that first quarter, that low block. That's where you've got to continue to exploit that size advantage. Get her up in the air, draw some contact, and get to the line.
Bartlett around Arenas, and a good left-hand finish for the freshman Alyssa Bartlett.
Put the ball on the floor and got into the rim. Kansas State having trouble getting them stopped one-on-one.
Trying to take advantage down low, and there's White again spinning around Josie Hill. Wildcats are 0 for 7 from distance, while the Coyotes have now hit 5 threes, and Josie Hill has 3 of them. Last possession of the first half. And with the Wildcats trailing by 6. Pair of undefeated teams with a lot of new faces, still finding their footing. And the Coyotes have been on the front foot tonight. 3 seconds left in the half. Arenas drives baseline. Off the mark. The theme of the first half for Kansas State and for South Dakota. Tenacious defense and clutch shooting for South Dakota. And they've got a 6-point lead with those keys to the game tonight. It's gone exactly according to your script. And now we see what the story is in the second half.
Like a basketball miracle. I feel like some days we can go 4 for 4, other days we can go 0 for 4.
Coyotes up by 6 to the third quarter. Immediately it's Robles on the tape. It's Sides instead of Anaya Foy, who made her first career start tonight. Garcia finds an open lane. He's tied a career high with 8 points tonight. To Rubiatis from distance. That's off the back iron. And great effort from Taryn Sides to for the rebound.
And the last couple possessions, the 50-50 going to Kansas State. They've got to continue to win those.
Another drive for Garcia. This time she takes contact.
Head down and making a game-winning on the road at SMU, second collegiate game. There's not going to be much that is going to fluster Gina Garcia.
And she really took over the game down in Texas. It wasn't just the game-winning shot, but also the game-tying shot. And she scored or assisted on 9 of the last 11 points in that game for the Wildcats. Great feed to for the 2 freshmen can't combine for the bucket. Another foul, though.
But you've got to have that attack mentality, especially when you get a player like Gina Garcia that's going to draw attention and then allow you to get downhill and get into the middle of the lane.
Second shot for Brandy Harrod. She goes 1 for 2 at the line. Rubiatis needs help. And she's called for 5 seconds. Garcia. She peels, pops off the rim. Arad gets the rebound. Sides thought about it. Streak Robles and takes the contact.
It's not only, it doesn't always have to be an easy putback or get you to the line, but you create another possession. Sometimes you go through 2, 3 versions of that shot.
A little bit of a press from Garcia. Back to a 1-point game. Tell Robles to take control, and she does. 2 more for the senior transfer. Wildcats down by 3. Sides trying to tie it. She does! Nothing but net for Taryn Sides. Sometimes all you need is to see one fall. And you can tell now it's the Wildcats that have the momentum on their side. Step back. Sides again. Top of the key. Just short. That was a bit of a heat check moment. Foul was on Josie Hill. And the Coyotes, have started to find themselves in foul trouble. They've already committed 5 fouls in this quarter.
Kansas State has made a living at the free throw line. 17 of 21 here in this game so far. Make it 18 of 22 to the system that was so successful in that first half.
Rubiatis catches the pass underneath. Finish. And so an empty possession for South Dakota, now with K-State in front by 1. Sides into the purple, flips it up and in. Taryn Sides. Swipe at Joyce.
They're going to want to run you off that three-point line, and when they do, you got to make them pay.
And Serena Sundell and Jalen Glenn and Gabby Gregory before her.
All in their own right to be able to show her the ropes and what it means like over a team. A fantastic afternoon. 8 of 8 so far from the charity stripe.
9 for 9. That foul was on Molly Joyce. And already the 6th for South Dakota in this third quarter. Josie Hill was looking for another 3. She's already hit a few. That one's off the mark. Garcia pushes the pace. White immediately into action around Hill for 2.
She's the type of player that thinks like a point guard. She finds shooters like a point guard, and she just has that mentality to run this K-State offense.
And now defense on Molly Joyce, who gets around her.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think about it because all of those things weren't available, but they changed that rule a couple seasons ago, and now you can have double-digit numbers. Was tripped. She's headed to the free throw line. It was a late whistle by the out official.
I thought there was also a signal for a kickball that I saw.
Yeah.
Bartlett on the drive. Right off the glass.
We saw it from the freshman in the first half.
Garcia saw the head tap, calls out a play. Shakes around Joyce, kick out Spicer. Wide open look, and she missed it. White went for the rebound over Hill. And Hill's called for the push.
On the other end, it was a block out by Josie Hill. She was whistled for the call, but the sophomore back at the free throw line and has given Jeff Mitty some big minutes here in this third quarter.
For 28 from the free throw line in this game. Joyce pull-up jumper and calls. Arenas peels out and resets. Float for White. Up against Hill, another whistle, another foul.
I think the adjustment's got to be made, Jake, is that you're going to have to try to get around. Is that if they play behind Ramaya White, either bring a double team on the initial catch, or you've got to work to get your post players in front. Make them go over the top of you.
Hill gets the rebound on the miss. White is 6 from the foul line. Meanwhile, Josie Hill is now one of 3 Coyotes with 4 fouls. Patience Williams and Angie Robles also have 4 fouls. So Molly Joyce and Alyssa Bartlett have 3. So a lot of foul trouble in this third quarter.
From their side of the defensive end was that they were whistling for a lot of fouls. And so you've got to play defense without fouling.
Sides create space. Cats up by 7. The White got tangled up.
She used it so effectively a year ago. circled in a scouting report. So much movement going around, especially into those corners. You have an over tendency to contest on shooters.
10 seconds left in the quarter. And now Garcia starts to go. Heels in the lane. Wide open look for Tess Hill. She hits it, but there was a whistle away from the pass on the floor.
Gina Garcia left her feet on the pass. Jenna Hopp. Schlegel, the freshman, comes over, gets her feet set. Waved off the three by Hill in the corner. And that's where Taryn Size had made a living in her career at Kansas State.
It has been a tough three-point shooting night for the Wildcats, just 2 for 12, but Sides has both of the three-point makes, and the Wildcats open the fourth quarter with a 6-point lead.
Great hands by Jenna Hopp. They get the turnover. Now they keep the possession.
Tori Schlagel underneath. That was almost a no-look layup.
You will see her on the all-freshman team in the Summit League this year.
Boy for three, it's short. Rebound Heel. And now a chance for Heel. She gets an open look. High archer ball. And Hopp the rebound. Pardon, it's 10 points for Tori Schlagel.
Much smaller lineup right now for South Dakota. Jenna Hopp having to play that 4-5, but does give us some versatility from the perimeter. South Dakota have put themselves back. They hang in there, just a 2-point deficit on the road.
Now, Carrie Amy's team has come into the fourth quarter with a lot cleaner play than we saw in the third quarter. And that's the kind of defense we saw from South Dakota in the first half. The Coyotes had a 6-point lead at halftime before the Wildcats scored 25 points in the third quarter to take the lead.
South Dakota doing this without Robles, Patience Williams, or Josie Hill, all on the bench. Fouls.
All of whom entered foul trouble in that third quarter. Flattery for three. She connects, and the Coyotes are back in front.
They've gotten bench help, which is exactly what you have to do. You go back to their game against Air Force, where they won by 25 at home. 19 points came from the bench, and Jeff Mitty not at all happy about it. It makes it much more difficult to get over the top of that screen. So much contact on the dribbler. That's why that whistle.
Garcia drives baseline. Still too strong on the left. Rebound Schlegel. But for all the momentum Kansas State seemed to have in the third quarter, the Coyotes are not going away quiet.
We said it earlier, the transfer from South Dakota State didn't get a lot of minutes a year ago as a sophomore in Brookings. Coming into her own and finding her new home and a new place for her just down the road in Vermillion.
And a 3-point lead for South Dakota. Sides around a screen. Back for Cotton, tied up. And she makes a great decision, stepping to her right and the lay-in for two. 1-point game, 6 minutes left. Tori Schlagel knocks down the
with a quick release, but that is catch and shoot. You are never more open than you are on that initial catch. 13
points now for Schlegel, a new career high. And Tess Hill underneath with an important ball and the foul.
But understands that in positions you feel the pressure, you've got to go get a bucket when necessary. And Tess Hill with that old-fashioned three-point play.
Biggest test for South Dakota so far this season. The Coyotes are 3-0. Wins against York, Air Force, and Buena Vista. This is their first road game this season. A lot of contact with Schlegel, and there's a foul call.
Because there was some contact made as Schlegel went in. It was pretty clean there on the rejection and the help. She did leave her feet. But the call goes against Gina Garcia on the bottom. But either way, both of those players having to come in and play big minutes here in this fourth quarter because of the foul trouble that the Coyotes have had.
K-State on three. Great take from reverse layup for two, and it's a 1-point game. Under 5 minutes to play in a 1-point game in Manhattan. There's a big three from Jenna Hopp. And here in the fourth quarter, both teams are starting to play at their best.
Yes, and starting to fire on all cylinders offensively. Kansas State.
And back to a 2-point game. Joyce has space. Can't hit. And a rebound for Jenna Cotton.
And that's what it needs, one and done. You cannot give up second chances. You do not allow South Dakota to extend possessions.
Hill on the drive. No good, and a whistle. Another one. Now, Carrie Amy is going to hear whistles tonight.
Yes.
32nd free throw attempt for Kansas State.
Coming into this game, Tess Hill was 5 of 7 from the free throw line.
One-point game. Cotton comes with a turnover. Clean takeaway for K-State, and now a chance for the Wildcats to take the lead. Cotton underneath through contact. She hits the and she's called for a charge. The Coyotes have drawn charge after charge after charge tonight.
And that will be Janessa Cotton's foul. She made a great play defensively. Jenna Hopp comes over in help for the Coyotes. She wants to go one-on-one. Draws that fifth foul, 9 points in the start here for the sophomore team.
The Coyotes maintain their 1-point lead. Robles is back in. She's got 4 fouls. And a great take against Garcia. Robles gets the bucket and got the contact.
Straight clutch. That's all Angelina Robles is. The 5'5" senior with the ball in her hands spent the majority of the end of the third quarter and most of this fourth quarter on the bench with those 4 fouls. But movement without the ball, reads the defense, uses the hesitation to clear Gina Garcia. The freshman takes contact. And the 3-point play, the old-fashioned way for Angelina Robles. A big statement when you come back in on the floor.
11 points now for Robles. Carrie Amy has decided it's go time, and why not? 2.5 minutes to play. And her team is up by 4. Spicer from deep, a huge three for Jordan Spicer.
As we said, sometimes the world just feels a little lighter once you see it go in.
Inbound, Robles gets it back after the inbounds pass. Missed the shot, sides the rebound. That's a foul on Angie Robles. That is her 5th.
Now for the last 2+ minutes, South Dakota is going to have to go without the senior leader. She's 3 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 from behind the 3-point line.
Cats are in the bonus, so it puts Taryn Sides at the line. She hits both. The Wildcats have made 29 free throws in this game. That has kept them afloat on what's been a poor shooting night in the field. 2 minutes to play inside Bradley's Coliseum. Great penetration from Molly Joyce, and she puts the Coyotes back in front.
As this South Dakota team, they have been relentless. Kansas State's defense does a great job of being able to clog the lane, but you know that skip pass is going to be there.
In the lane, off the bottom of the backboard, and to Patience Williams' hands.
That's a tough matchup with Jenna Hopp, just because she's got size and length. And now Carrie Amy wants a timeout. This is a program went to the Sweet 16 in 2022. They got there by beating another Big 12 team, Baylor, Waco, to advance to the Sweet 16 in 22. They understand success. They know what it takes. They play tough teams in the Summit League all season long. They got a big chance here on the road today.
Rubiana's top of the key. Spicer strips it. She's got the steal. Loose ball, and she's able to get it away to Tess Hill. Great defense from the freshman Jordan Spicer. Kansas State down by 1. Sides needs help. Senior transfer Hill to the freshman Gina Garcia. And a foul on the ball. That's on Alyssa Bartlett. More free throws for the Wildcats. And, well, guess who? Gina Garcia.
And she puts them back on their heels. That's why that whistle comes away. And she's been so good here this afternoon for Jeff Mitty.
Garcia's now started back-to-back games. And she has a career-high 14 points tonight. She is 12 for 12 from the free throw line. Those free throws have put the Wildcats back by 1. Now under a play. Everybody in purple is on their feet in Manhattan. The freshman Bartlett, elbow jumper. A little bit too strong. Loose ball. Hopp brings it in. Second chance. No good. Another loose ball. Then Terrence takes it away. 50-50 possession for South Dakota.
Had opportunities, 2 good looks. The jumper by Bartlett and the putback by Hopp. Couldn't get it to go. But now you've got to differentiate. About 12 seconds shot clock to game.
8 seconds on the shot clock. Garcia penetrates. Kick out here in the corner. She needs help with 4. Pass stolen. Jenna Hopp streaking down the floor. And Gina Garcia pumps it away. 10 seconds left. The Coyotes have to foul.
Gina Garcia able to chase Jenna Hopp down. Hopp gets out in the passing lane and then just not able to control it. Looking to be able to good hand on it, and Gina Garcia just swipes it away. No call. And now Terran sides. And South Dakota has timeouts. They will be able to advance the basketball.
Sides hits the second.
They needed to. They've stepped up and made free throws. And this is a big defensive play right here. What do the Coyotes draw up?
So here we go. The freshman Alyssa Bartlett to inbound. She gets it from Tori Schlagel. Coyotes by 2. Williams for 3. She hits it to put South Dakota in front. What a clutch three-pointer from the senior transfer, Patience Williams.
She missed the majority of this second half in foul trouble. Picked up 4. Half of the quarter, they jumped out to a 4-0 lead, the back-to-back buckets, and it was just momentum from that point on.
1.6 seconds to go. Cats down by 1. Garcia on the inbound. No good. And the South Dakota Coyotes to Manhattan and come away with a massive road win early this season.